Sounds amazing, that. Wow. So in this video, we're going to put up the brand new TaylorMade Stealth driver up against the very straight hitting and forgiving G425 Max driver from Ping. We're going to test a little bit of dispersion on this particular test. Look at a little bit of ball speed, but really look at the forgiveness elements, the straighter hitting, which one of these two driver is going to hit more fairways. Okay, so we're going to kick things off and we're going to start with the Ping G425 Max. So I've done videos on this in the past, and for me, this is probably one of the straightest hitting drivers out on the market. That big heavyweight in that back section, which obviously we can move from heel to toe, but I've got this set in a central position, but pulling that weight back, that increase that MOI, and we definitely are seeing some straighter shots, especially through our fittings with, you know, your sort of club golfers. So I'm going to kick things off, 9-degree head. Okay, not a bad strike to start off with, and there's that very distinctive sound that we know with the Ping is pretty loud. Not everybody's cup of tea, very sort of tinny sort of sound. So obviously, as we know with the Ping G425 drive, matte black, we've got the turbulators on there, that splits your sort of feedback, whether that's a good thing or a bad thing. That's a very personal choice, but I quite like the way it sort of sits. Matte black, as I say, it's long from that front to back, so it's a big footprint there, and obviously the bigger that length from the front of the face to the back, the more they can get that weight backwards. There's a slightly bottom hit. Yeah, touch heel, slightly low. Just see that flight comes down a little bit to that launch angle, 8.7 or 9-degree there. So that spin goes up a little bit. But if we look at the direction of that, it's a fairway find. It's not going to be the longest. That's a good hit. Good launch. It's in the air for what looks to be quite a long time. Working that launch a little bit there, you see that 12-degree, it's been 2.6, 285, really good carry number there. Been in that right area. Oh, that's a good shot. Super flight on that. Get some good ball speed, get that launch good, spin's good, 284, carry, some good carry numbers there. So we're going to hit one more shot. This is shot number 10. We're going to hit 10 with the Stealth in a minute. Good. Okay, so very distinctive on the sound. As we said, we know that. You'll either like that or you won't. It's quite loud for me, but is it something you get over? Possibly. We've seen some pretty good numbers there, aren't we? So let's jump into the Stealth and we'll hit 10 shots with that. Right, okay, so Stealth in my hands now. So as we know from the review video, there's two versions of the Stealth. We've got Stealth Plus, which has got the movable track, a little bit more low spin, with that weight more forward in the club face than the standard Stealth, which is what I've got in my hands. No movable track, we've got that weight at the back. So again, it's similar to idea to the Ping G425 Max. They're pulling that weight back, increasing that MOI. So these are two of the more friendlier options in a way, or the more forgiving options with that higher MOI, which again helps with those off-center hits, reducing the twist, ultimately getting those shots a little bit straighter, a little bit higher launch, a little bit, maybe a little bit higher spin. So instincts, obviously got to compare these two. Looks very, very different. The Stealth definitely a little bit more compact from that front to the back, so they're not as pulled back as what we noticed with the G25. Obviously we've got that distinctive red face that we just obviously see, but the rest of the club is very sort of black. It's obviously matte finish with that little bit of gloss around the front and the edges. I like the look of this. I think this looks superb down by the golf ball, this TaylorMade. I really do like it. And a very, very different sound to it, and that is a really good sound. I did mention that in a review video. I think obviously we've got a carbon face. It wasn't the sound I was expecting that I would expect to sort of see from a car or hear from a carbon face, but it sounds superb. I think the acoustics are really, really good. I felt a touch low in the club face. It's flown really nice. Straight again, yeah, slightly low heel, which I did have one low like that with the G425 Max. But you probably noticed with that, it dropped off, I think, just cost a moment. We're going to look at numbers obviously at the end, but I think that dropped into the high 260s carry. That's 281 on a similar strike, which is interesting. Ball speed good from that hit. That's a good flight, is that. Looks to be going forward felt a little bit high in the face. Yeah, a touch, could get that feedback there. Spins low, yeah, just it looked a little bit more knuckleball that, just that slight low spin with that slightly higher strike. Mega impressed with the feel of off the club face with this TaylorMade. You know, I think when I did the comparison video to the Sim 2 drive, you know, I didn't see any gain in ball speed, but what I did feel like I found was a little bit more accuracy. Seems to be a little bit better on those off-center hits. Again, it's one of the reasons why I wanted to prompt to this video. You know, distance and ball speed is obviously a big talking point, isn't it, with these new drivers, technology faces. This is creating a faster ball speed. But I think at the same time for us, you know, club golfers in a way, you've got to look at accuracy as well. It's a big thing, isn't it? You know, hitting more fairways is a big part. Yes, it's great to have that extra 10, 15, maybe even 20 yards there, but, you know, realistically, if you can keep in that short stuff, your second shot's so much easier, isn't it? Lovely high flight. Sounds amazing, that. Wow. So I've moved that quick. I didn't feel that quick, but 115, I've definitely moved that quicker. Obviously, give me a little bit more ball speed. Spin's just popped up a little bit, so I've probably just tiny bit low in the club face. Spin's just dropped, increased a tiny bit. So I've got good carry 284, but if I got that spin right, that would have been probably up to high 280s, maybe topping 290 there. So this is a 9-degree head, and I've got this set at 9 degree. Okay, so probably just halfway through hitting those 10 shots, and probably just noticeably a little bit more club head speed. Again, that doesn't feel, I'm not trying to generate that, but obviously clear we're just getting maybe 1.5 mile an hour more maybe than the Ping at the moment. Again, we'll look at the numbers a little bit more detail at the end. Just picking these two up and putting them side by side and just feeling the club head here, and definitely just feel like there's a little bit more weight. I think the Ping head is a little bit heavier than maybe many other drivers, and definitely sort of feel that. So possibly that's where I can move that club with the TaylorMade just that little bit quicker. You know, there's a big lump of weight at the back, that shiftable weight in the Ping. Again, it does help a lot with that MOI, that forgiveness, but maybe a little bit of a sacrifice that maybe just not quite moving the head as quick. Such a good feel off the club face, just a little bit up that right hand side, but I'll be taking that. Okay, right, so there's 10 shots with the Stealth, but that feels superb. Quite quick on there, 115 that last one. So yeah, the feel, look, so I think for me, just before we look into the numbers a little bit more detail, let's just have a little look and comparison between the looks of these. Again, this is obviously very personal, this is my take on this, but I think for me, clear winner there is the TaylorMade in terms of the look. Yes, the red face is a little bit blaring to start with. You get used to that. The more I hit this, the more it sort of doesn't take your eye too much. It isn't sort of in your face too much. You know, I love the cleaner black, darker finish of the head. I think the shaping is really nice. Don't get me wrong, I like the Ping. It's obviously just a slightly bigger footprint. You've got the turbulators, which I don't mind. It frames the ball, but if there's a pick between those two, definitely TaylorMade. And the sound, for me, again, definitely TaylorMade. Much really nailed on those audios of the contact there and how it sort of sounds. Again, the Ping, the split differences a little bit with a lot of people. That slightly tinnier sound sometimes is just a bit too offensive for certain golfers, but again, obviously very personal. Let's go and check a few numbers out. Okay, so if we have a little look at the numbers, and what I'm going to do, I'm going to take 2 of the worst ones out with each driver. And some of you have been asking me to do this. Typically, I show sort of maybe 5, 6 shots with each. I've done 10, a little bit more of a bigger sample. I'm going to take 2 of the slightly worse hits with them both. Okay. So let's compress these. We'll have a look at it as an average. So obviously these are the best 8 from each of those clubs. So you can see the Ping on the bottom, TaylorMade on the top. So club head speed, yeah, noticeable. There's that sort of good 1.5 mile an hour more club head speed with the Stealth. As I mentioned, that does feel a little bit lighter in the head with the Stealth. Is that because of the carbon face? But then again, they've taken that weight, repositioned that somewhere else in the club head. But it does definitely feel noticeably lighter in the head in comparison to the Ping. So again, that's probably where that club head speed is going to come from. So then you look at ball speed, 164.8 against 163. So yes, faster with the Stealth, but got to bear in mind the club head speed is a little bit quicker as well. So very, very similar, isn't it? You know, I think I would expect to see that little bit of extra ball speed because of that a little bit of extra club head speed. So very, very similar on there. Launch angle just a touch lower there with the Stealth in relation to the G425. So maybe that longer head, bit more weight pulled further back, just helping to give that little bit of launch there. Spins very similar to 2,500 mark, which is good. Obviously just that little bit more carry there because of that extra bit of club head speed, but really close on those numbers. But what we're really sort of focused on here is dispersion. 2 high MOI is what both of the brands are sort of saying. More forgiving on the heads. Okay, so when we look at both of those dispersion rings there, they are very, very similar, aren't they? And possibly you could have an argument the TaylorMade is just a touch narrower there on that sample of hits. So orange is the TaylorMade, so that left one there, I equally had a left one there with the Ping. Right one there with the Ping, a little bit more of a bigger right miss there in comparison to the TaylorMade. So probably would say that TaylorMade just a little bit tight on that dispersion on that run of hits. Okay, so there you go. So possibly the TaylorMade just edging it for there. And as I say, the Ping has been an exceptional driver this year through our fittings. We see some amazing results. But I think for me, again, personally, the looks, the feel, definitely TaylorMade is a winner. And maybe on that, very, very close, isn't it? But possibly TaylorMade just edging it a tiny, tiny bit, but very difficult to split it on the actual dispersion ring there. But I think if you're looking for a really forgiving driver, these are two drivers you need to maybe put on your radar and have a little look and try yourselves. Okay, appreciate watching the video. As always, if you enjoyed it, do hit that subscribe button, hit the like button, and hopefully I'll catch you all very soon.